come back. Your dreams were your ticket.
Anthony Joshua ready to defend his titles against Oleksandr Usyk next. What up, sports world? It's just boxing here. Anthony Joshua confirmed last Saturday night that he's ready to fulfill his WBO mandatory obligation by defending his newly won heavyweight title against mandatory Oleksandr Usyk next. The WBO president, Paco, posted a tweet last night saying that Joshua has 180 days to defend against Usyk. Joshua beat Andrew Ruiz Jr. last Saturday to recapture his IBF, WBA, and WBO heavyweight titles. Both the IBF and WBO mandatories are due at the same time. By Joshua saying he's ready to face Usyk, who has a record of 17 wins, 0 losses, but 13 knockouts. Next, it means he's made up his mind that he plans on keeping the WBO belt. Unless the IBF is willing to let Joshua defend against his WBO mandatory first, that belt will fall vacant. In that case, it means the IBF mandatory Kubrat Pulev will likely face Adam Kavanagh for the vacant International Boxing Federation title. In 180 days, let's rock and roll, mate, Joshua said last Saturday at the post-fight news conference after being asked if he will face Usyk next. No problem. Joshua has a record of 23 wins, 1 loss, 21 knockouts. Will have no problems. Will have problems with Usyk boxing ability if he continues to mimic former heavyweight champion Vladimir Klitschko with his fighting style. Against Ruiz, Joshua fought like a carbon copy of Vladimir in moving, holding, and smothering the American for 12 rounds. The performance by Joshua was like the second coming of Klitschko. Even little things that Vladimir used to do, like holding his arms out in front of him and ducking his head when clinching, Joshua used those tactics with perfection. In some ways, Joshua was like an improved version of Vladimir. Unfortunately for Joshua, Usyk is rumored to have given Vladimir huge problems during sparring. His style was all wrong for Vladimir, and he was said to have gotten the better of him. First of all, man, it was rumored that Vladimir Klitschko was helping Anthony Joshua doing sparring sections. So I mean, I don't find anything wrong with him using certain tactics. I mean, you're supposed to take certain things from different fighters, and add it to your arsenal, to make you a better fighter. But anyway, I think Usyk will outbox him, said middleweight contender Sergey Derevyanchenko to Fight Height when asked how Usyk would do against Anthony Joshua. There's an IBF mandatory, there's an WBO mandatory, said Joshua promoter Eddie Hearn. Kubrat Pulev is the IBF mandatory. Usyk is the WBO mandatory, and I see him wanting to take both of those fights as well. We have to speak to the governing body, see who goes first, and then deal with that, said Eddie Hearn. We'll see if the IBF will allow Joshua to retain his title with the organization should he choose to defend against the WBO mandatory Usyk next. If the IBF wants the prestige of having a popular heavyweight title like Joshua hold their belt, then they'll permit him to make a defense against Usyk next. If not, then the belt will be stripped from him. Ruiz wants Joshua to give him a trilogy fight. Andy made it clear at the post-fight news conference that he wants a third fight with Joshua because he feels that he wasn't at his best due to his conditioning. But first of all, Andy Ruiz Jr., that's your fault that you wasn't at your best. I mean, you had some months to train to get in the best shape possible for your upcoming fight with Anthony Joshua. It's not like you didn't know when you were fighting him. It wasn't like your last fight when you had 2-3 weeks to prepare. You had 3 to 4 months to prepare for Anthony Joshua. So all these complaining and making excuses, for why you didn't give the best performance in the fight Saturday night, that's your fault. But anyway, however, the trilogy would need to wait until Joshua finished defending against his mandatory challenges with Usyk and Pulev. Ruiz Jr. might luck out if Joshua lost his IBF title, because he would only have to defend against Usyk before facing him again. There's a good chance that the IBF won't force Joshua to decide on keeping their title or the WBO. Me personally, I hope the IBF strip him, so Adam Kalinacki and Pulev can fight for the title. You know, so but Derek Chisora and Usyk are already in negotiations for a fight, and that match could take place next if the IBF gets their way, and having Joshua defend against mandatory challenger Pulev next. Chisora and Usyk were both at the Joshua Ruiz fight last Saturday in Saudi Arabia, and were posed for photos together as well. So, I mean, you know, it's, you know, Eddie Hearn got what he wanted. You know, he got his belts back over there in Britain, you know, and there's no way he's going to allow those belts to make their way back to the States. The only way that one of the titles can make it back to the United States if if Anthony Joshua challenges Deontay Wilder to be undisputed. Second, if the IBF strip Anthony Joshua and allow Adam Kalinacki and Kubrat Pulev to fight for the IBF title. And if Kalinacki defeats Pulev, that would make him the new IBF title holder. And that can set up a unified heavyweight title fight between Deontay Wilder and Adam Kalinacki. But, you know, that's a long shot. We'll see. It's going to be a waiting game. Deontay Wilder, he has options. Anthony Joshua has options. So hopefully we'll get that fight sooner than later. But how things are stacking up and how things is looking is going to be much later rather than sooner. But we'll see. It's a waiting game. It's just boxing. Don't forget to subscribe, like, smash the bell icon to get notification of all new videos coming your way. It's just boxing, and I'm out. Peace.